Previously on TVSins.
And we're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny Kaye.
Morty, I already told you, it's not your family!
Sure, but can we talk about what they're trying to do? Because Not Jerry seems to have you well in his grip and able to kill you easily, but is just standing there waiting for this scene that's just an excuse to justify a title sequence clip to end. Why would this facility, as part of its infrastructure, have a button that remotely controls this Ghostbusters-style trap that Rick had in his hand? Isn't that something he just brought to the adventure?
You make a request, the Meeseeks fulfills the request, and then it stops existing.
Rick, knowing about this Meeseeks box, makes so many of his previous decisions in this show completely unnecessary. As disposable as these beings are, why wouldn't he use them as at least an extra pair of hands to complete all his adventures with Morty?
I'm Mr. Meeseeks!
I want to be popular at school.
Ooh, okay!
This Meeseeks shtick is a brilliant way to play with the be careful what you wish for trope, but in a world where the genie allows you to wish for infinite wishes. God, this show is just the best.
This village is terribly poor, yet the giant that lives in the clouds above has untold treasures.
Jeff Bezos. Also, this world not only happens to have the Jack and the Beanstalk story from our Earth in its reality, but R&M also just happened to land in the village where he lives. Just a reminder that even the most brilliant shows need some little blue convenience pills once in a while to keep their stories firmed up.
In conclusion, a friendship with Summer Smith is the most valuable and enriching experience of your young life.
Mr. Meeseeks was able to call an assembly at Summer's school just to say great things about her so that she'd be popular, and it looks like the entire school is on board with a magical blue what's-it they've never seen before in his pro-Summer message. Also, holy hell, what kind of acid trip was the designer of this basketball court on? The key area, or free throw dick, as it's more commonly called, is completely out of proportion and reaches almost a half court, which would be fine, except the other half of the court appears to be more like a third of the court and doesn't even seem to have any markings. Plus, that far hoop, which is clearly not retracted and should be at a standard 10 feet, has to be at least 20 feet off the ground based on the scale of the bleachers underneath it. And, speaking of those bleachers, why are they behind the podium when all the space in front of the podium is available? And how did they even get them there? They clearly don't fold in, so did they move this here in one piece? This is a gymnasium of lies. I know Jerry is a dim-witted sad sack, but wouldn't shaving 2 strokes off his golf game suggest that he's somewhat competent at golf? If the guy can't even hit the ball off the tee, then isn't the real request shave 1,000 strokes off his golf game?
Let me try something.
Why did they bring the Meeseeks box with them on the golf course? Did they expect to need extra Mr. Meeseeks during this tutorial?
Can you help me get 2 strokes off of Jerry's golf swing?
But if the Meeseeks are aware of their own process and abilities enough to call other Meeseeks to help with what I asked them to do, wouldn't that impact their perspective on their own purpose in a way that negates my original request? I guess what I'm asking is, how many Seeks would a Meeseek seek if a Meeseek could seek me? Are Rick and Morty from a Spider-Verse? Because I don't know how you climb a mostly flat surface like that without a little accidental radioactive spider venom.
Meeseeks don't usually have to exist this long. It's getting weird.
How does he even know this? I've about had it with the Discount Blue Man Group's existential paradoxes.
Here we are, walking down the courthouse steps.
Why would the courthouse steps lead all the way down to the non-giant world below? Wouldn't the steps at the giant court lead to other places where the giants regularly go? Also, did everyone else in the courts just stay inside? Was the Rick and Morty trial the undercard to a much more important trial? Why did Jerry bring everybody back to the house for his lesson? How are you supposed to learn this inside a living room? Was he trying to hit a ball inside his house? Was he just trying to swing the club? Because I'm pretty sure he succeeded at the second thing, but what do I know? Tennis confuses me. What happened to Beth's new hair? She had a new style a minute ago and now it looks like the old Beth.
Why did you even rope me into this? Because he roped me into this. Well, him over there, he roped me into this. Well,
The TVSins hiring process.
Well, what do you know? Look down there. Looks like some kind of tavern or something.
The thirsty step. I mean, the 12th step was sitting right there.
Stop fighting me! Just let this happen.
Holy my surrealist sci-fi comedy show just went super dark. The creators have even said they wanted this scene to reflect the trauma of assault and not be funny at all. But here's my question. Is this really the place for it? I'm all for victim sensitivity, but seems to me the most sensitive thing to do would be to not unexpectedly reference real-life trauma in a place where most wouldn't be expecting to have to deal with it. These Meeseeks are never given verbal instructions. Are we changing the rules so that they can just intuit what their purpose is now? We heard Jerry leave the house when he told the Meeseeks,
"At this point, my golf swing is more your problem than mine."
and he was wearing the green golf shirt, but now he's in a suit. But wait, neither Jerry nor Beth told the Meeseeks where they were going for dinner, so maybe after Jerry left, he went upstairs to get dressed and came back down and told the Meeseeks where they were going, but why did he clearly go outside after telling them that? There's only one door in the living room that would open and close, and it goes outside.
Come on, Rick! Quick, stall in! What do you got?
Read 'em and weep.
Rick slow rolls the stairfolk. Rick rolling? At this point, I'm kind of wondering how the Thirsty Step stays in business. Their location is awful, and most of its customers couldn't possibly make it up here easily. So we're just saying hitting a tomato with a metal shelving bar into a large pot about 10 feet away is equivalent to improving your golf game 2 strokes? Well, okay then. Jesus. I didn't know the Meeseeks had such a huge arsenal. Did they knock off a gun store on the way to the restaurant, or do the Smiths have a hidden gun room?
I'm a bit of a stickler, Meeseeks. What about your short game?
And yet more proof that the Meeseeks get to decide when their purpose has been fulfilled, meaning they could have bailed at any point, and the entire premise of this episode is null and void. And now that I've been this much of a pedantic asshole, I can disappear. Also, the literal request was to shave 2 strokes off of his game, and Jerry got more than that by merely learning how to drive the ball. So go f*** yourself, stickler Meeseeks. Your job is technically done.
Jerry, look, we don't have a perfect marriage, but I'm not going anywhere.
Define anywhere.
See you next week, everybody!
The 4th wall is my least favorite wall, yet I'm sad somehow every time it gets broken. The mysteries of the heart confound us.
And a boring game. Boring game. It's like watching flies.
I looked at the trap, Ray.
You're out of order! You're out of order! The whole trial is out of order!
I've dreamt of free soloing El Cap for 10 years, and every year it just looked too big.
You've come to fight as 3 men, and 3 men you are. What will you do without freedom?
Buckle up!
Your driver is a snail?